Morning, Owens. Welcome to the SA lawn. Well, whenever you're watching this, welcome. Lekker. Right, Owens, so it's another stunner of a morning in the middle of the winter here in Johannesburg. Well, at least my microclimate's quite good. You know, the guys down in the dips got a little bit more harsher of a climate, but for now things are looking lekker. Besides a couple of oopsie daisies like there and there, but that's what this video is about, so we'll talk about them in a second. But the weather first has been so lekker and mild. However, I see by the end of this week, it is now the 14th of June, we will be getting some a little bit more freezing weather. So even my kikuyu's got lekker color, and even the putting green is still growing fairly actively. I made an oopsie there. Guys, I sprayed about a month back. I sprayed fertilizer and then just assumed that my irrigation was going to go on a few minutes later, and I don't think it did. I think with all that load shedding, my irrigation lost its date and time. So it either already irrigated or it only irrigated a lot later, and I burnt quite a bit of it. You won't see it so clearly now. I should have actually made a video about it, but it did kill off some areas. However, most of it started greening up again, and I was applying a growth regulator at that point in time, so it wasn't recovering very quick. However, there's still some growth around, so once again, these areas that were bare, that got hit by that, you can actually, if you look properly, you'll see the lines where I sprayed, where it was a little bit heavier. So yeah, not good, but thankfully that's recovering. Have a look here, guys. So there you can see the green coming through the brown again. So not an ideal situation. I have to make sure the next time I apply quite a lot of nitrogen liquid fertilizer, make sure it waters in, and it not just sits there for hours. Right, guys, the blue-grays is looking absolutely very nice. It's kind of in its peak now, somewhere between the transition between summer and winter, and then winter and summer again. Those two periods, you get it just a time where it really shines, and that's almost one of those times. We're going to talk about the issues right now, but the weather's really just playing into my hands right here, and it is looking fantastic. The weather has not been cold enough to really take the color from this lawn. However, remember I sprayed that fertilizer and it burnt a little bit there with a new sprayer. That's been sorted out because it's growing fairly actively quite fast at the moment. That's been probably 2 weeks. I've been able to grow that brownish or burnt stuff off the lawn, chopped it off. You can still see a little bit of it left. Let's talk about the issues. And the reason I want to talk about these issues is I don't just want to leave them on my lawn. Firstly, if you just have a look like that, that's Poa and that is Kweek. We'll have a closer look at them right now. They look far different and they grow far different. Not the Kweek so much, but the Poa definitely is growing far different to the growth habits of this bluegrass. So just have a look here, guys. Some invasive Kweek, I struggle with this every year. However, now this year I don't see so much of it. And then Poa, this is probably the first time we're really seeing such a large amount of Poa. I've got some there, I've got some there, and the problem is there's a massive area right there with seed edge. You can see there a new spot. The problem is I'm mowing over it continuously without the basket, shooting the seeds all over the place. It's probably going to get worse year by year unless we think of things like pre-emergence to keep the seeds from germinating. However, that's never been the issue here, so it's only now really the next year that I might think of applying a pre-emergent to get these things under control. However, I'm going to take a spade or something, whatever method, to remove these grasses, and then we'll sort of talk a little bit more about why I so dearly want to remove them from my grass and try and keep it a monostand as much as possible. The last issue is this oxalis. However, this lawn is looking so nice at the moment, I don't even really want to spray much herbicide on it because there's so much color. I don't want to stunt it, and now with me digging these things out and leaving a hole, it's probably good to keep it to grow as active as possible to recover. Have a look, more Poa. Right, guys, Poa annua. Let's quickly talk about the development of this Poa annua And what is so significant about the way that it grows, and I can completely see why people leave it on golf greens. Most of these golf courses in Johannesburg, some of them spray it out, but a lot of them just leave it there because it creates this type of thing. But let's just go and have a look at a new germinating power piece. Right guys, so here's a newer power piece. I'm just going to rub the dew off it. So when I do that, you won't really see a big difference between the bluegrass and the power. You can clearly see it by the seed heads. But what's happening here is it's looking like more or less a lawn grass. And the more you mow over it and spray growth regulator, I really see the difference with growth regulator, the tighter this grass gets. And then it ends up looking like this bit right here that is so tight that really when a golf ball sits on here, this lawn is probably mowed over 10 mils. However, this piece right here, the leaf blades are actually around probably 4 or 5 mils, shorter than my greenies at the moment. So it's pushed up a little bit and it's created this tight look on top here. Let me get a golf ball and I'll illustrate to you. You can see it's far different from the bluegrass around the edges here. Sorry, getting very technical here, but it's a far different growth habit. So, well, I can't even keep it to stop there. And that's probably the reason why. If it's on the bluegrass, it won't roll. Like look right there, it stops there. Whereas if it's on the power, it really creates such a tight, good playing surface. And for that reason alone, I'm going to remove it. I've just got a tent spike here. The power is not too difficult to remove. The root system is not that strong. I've never removed such a big piece, but yeah. And exactly for this reason, I might leave it if it invades into my putting green. But I really don't want it on my bluegrass because the growth habit is so much different and it just looks a little bit patchy. Okay, lekker guys, so I've removed most of the areas that I could clearly see. However, the more the sun comes out, that's why I started early, it gets harder and harder to see where they are, because as soon as the sun strikes the lawn, it's as if all the different grass types turns the same color. Okay, so I removed most of them, and it is so sad to be 100% honest with you, because this bluegrass is not as of an aggressive spreader as something like Kikuyu that we used to. So it does take so much longer for it to repair. Okay, so I'll probably go on with this, and also Jomo is coming tomorrow, which I probably won't film, and then remove all of them, and then we'll think of a plan of attack to try and get this to recover as fast as possible. So we don't have to wait months and months and months, because believe me, if we leave this oakie right here, it will take months to completely fill in, probably like 3 months or so. So yeah, not ideal to just leave it there. So I'll see you in a day or two, but in a second or two for you. Cheers. All right, Owens, it's some 2, 3, 4 days later, and the cold has struck Johannesburg. I've just been bragging how lucky of a morning. It's actually a little bit better now. The last 2 or 3 days I didn't do much here. It was just too flippin' cold, you know. I can't come out here 6 in the morning when it's dark and flippin' below 0. So these things, every time I walk on the lawn, it's absolutely breaking my heart, because this Kentucky bluegrass just doesn't spread as fast as Kikuyu, guys. And here is all the stuff that I've taken out, and it's a bit of an issue because I've now taken them out. But you know, there's power, and it's mainly power in there, is bearing some seeds here, guys. And I've mowed over this for the last how many ever months it's been present in my lawn, so there's probably quite a bit of seed lying around on this lawn. So I'll expect it over the next year to also germinate and be a bit of an issue. The kweek or the Bermuda has always been a bit of an issue. That's what was here. Not a lot of it, but that's what here. Before I had the Kentucky bluegrass, I had kweek here. Owens, so a bit of an issue. So on to the next steps. I've got these holes now, and one thing that I didn't do is fill them in immediately, which is a bit of an issue because you don't really want that root zone to dry out there. You want to keep it as healthy and as actively growing as possible so that it spreads into those holes as fast as possible. Okay, but I've got another method of attack how to fill them in quickly. So let's look at a couple of options, what we can do to make it just look alright, you know, and fill in as quick as possible, as fast as possible. So many times people come to my house and then they get jealous because my lawn is so beautiful. And then they start picking on the small little, you know, mistakes and the small little imperfections, you know. And then they ask me, well, Merrick, why do you have this ugly stuff growing in your wall? And it's for moments like this, guys. It's so that I can have my own little grass farm here on the side of my wall, then take them out and put them in those empty spaces. And then firstly, it doesn't take as long to fill into the middle because now I've got something in the middle growing to the outer sides. To be 100% honest, I don't think I'm going to have enough because I've taken out quite a lot of grass here. But let's hope for the best. Yes, just like that. Just like that. Right, so I'm going to start with the biggest crater on the lawn, or the biggest ones, because the smaller ones, like the one right here, I believe should fill in by itself. Okay, that's only about 5 or 7 centimeters wide, whereas these big ones are really where the time is going to be to recover, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to backfill here. I've got some sand, some of the same sand that I use on my green, just like that. Just like that. And then I'm going to use some of my grass. I'm not going to fill the entire thing, but like here somewhere in the middle is a good spot to plant a little bit of bluegrass. Okay, you'll see that it looks far different, but the more you mow it, the tinier the leaf blades get and look similar to the other ones. It takes about a month or so to really adapt to it when it's actively growing. So that should be good enough for this area. Just fill the entire thing with sand, and then later as I irrigate and water it in, it will repair itself. Boom! Yeah, so right here we've got 2 holes here. This one would probably benefit from a plug or so, but we can really benefit from just using the golf course trick, guys, the pitch mark. I'm just going to use this 10 spike and just work the edges of the grass closer to the middle. I'm going to start here on the side. I don't hit a lot of greens, that's why I'm not very good at this. We can really see the holes shrinking quite nicely here. And then I'm going to go wider and wider and wider so I don't create this cavity right here again, so that it just evens out. It loosens up the soil a bit. Check how small it's getting, guys. It's almost too small for this plug now. Let's push that sucker in there. And then I'm going to add some sand. And it just shows you really what a little bit of time and effort can do. Because I promise you this here you wouldn't see in a month's time. This is probably after 2 weeks, you'll probably not even notice that there was any grass removed from here. Right guys, I've watered in almost all of these sanded fixed areas, and just for that reason that you've seen on that video, that's exactly why I love to work with sand on projects that I want to repair fast. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this area. Just need some water there on a few more areas right there close to the stairs, but hopefully this will repair itself fairly quickly and I can keep this invasive grasses under control. So thank you so much to all of you who watched. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you like this video, be sure to smash into the like button and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now. Bye bye.